Just Pesola here. I know that it takes a second for people to pop on, so I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes. When you do pop on, make sure that you give me a thumbs up so I can see you. I think that sometimes in doing these live videos, our biggest fear is that I am posting this on the wrong page or in the wrong group or something. But okay, good. I see a couple people joining in. Hey, Lori. And so I'm going to give you guys a couple seconds. Hey, Morg. As you guys hop on, go ahead and just give me a thumbs up so I know that you're with me. I know that you're here, and I can really just start sharing my heart with you guys tonight. I am so pumped. I'm pumped. Hey, Taylor. I'm pumped to be able to do this and to share. Hey, girlfriend. And tonight is just sounds good, babes. I guess that's true, Lori. Tonight is just a fun way for me to share my story with you. My goal in this is to inspire you, to show you, from what works for one might not work for all, but my goal is to inspire you and to share with you tonight, and also to give you some fun, creative, tangible ways for you to walk away and have a list of some things that you can really, really do. So hopefully I can preach and teach and just give you my heart as we kind of jump in here. So just to give you, just to give you a few tidbits about my background, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, I am going to share more with you tonight than if you've heard my story before. There will probably be things in here that I've only shared with a select group of very special people, whether that's on retreats or whatnot, but I'm going to go a little bit deeper with you to a place that is possibly hard for me, but I know that it is part of my story that I feel like I need to share to show you how God has shaped and molded my heart and how it has affected my coaching and my perseverance. So, a little bit of background about who I am. Before I became a coach, I actually worked in a church for about a decade. I guess I should say church ministry for about a decade. I was the director of connections at a church where I helped assimilate people into small groups and serving opportunities, and that was really fun for me. I love people. I was also a worship director. And so I was able to I just realized that my charger is not working, which is awesome. That's okay, guys, bear with me. This always happens when we're doing really fun, big things, right? Okay, cool. So, but I absolutely loved it. I absolutely loved doing it. I have a husband who is a firefighter, EMT. I have a baby daughter. I have a newborn. You guys, my daughter was just born about 4 weeks ago, 4 weeks and 1 day. And her name is Kira Cynthia. She was named after my mom, with Cynthia being her middle name. And then I have a very fun, spunky, crazy boy that is 3.5. His name is Isaiah Joel, and he is so much fun. So, when I was working at the church, I was working 50 to 60 hours a week. And it was a lot, and I'm going to get there, but I believe, as I dig into my background tonight, I believe that God has used some major pain in my life, the major moments in my life, to help with my coaching journey in so many ways. So I'm going to go ahead and share a little deep. A couple years or a few years before I started coaching, my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer. And it was a very aggressive form of breast cancer. It was a 2-year journey that was extremely difficult. My mom was extremely strong in her faith. She was brave. She went through a lot, and I watched this amazing woman suffer a lot. At the time, I was leading worship all over the cities. I'm in Minnesota, and I remember getting the news that my mom was healed. She was completely healed. And I remember just leading worship and announcing it to this mega church in the cities. You know, my mom was healed. We praised. We were excited. We cheered. It was such an amazing moment. And literally a week later, we found out that the cancer was just microscopic and that it had spread to her bones and that she only had a couple months left to live. And so my mom ended up passing away from breast cancer. It was probably the most challenging, most difficult time in my life, or one of them, where I just could not see why this would be happening, why I would be going through this, why she would have to suffer in these ways. And I had the choice to either lean into faith and to be able to trust blindly, or to be bitter and upset. And I chose to lean into that faith. And just a little tidbit about my faith journey, and if that's not your gig, it's okay, guys. I've got some great content for you tonight. But as I was with my mom I was actually with her when she passed away, and it was such a powerful experience to be with somebody as they were going right from this life into eternity, and God was there, and it was, hey Liz, and it was just a very, very powerful moment for me. And I felt through that experience and through some different times that God was showing me I can trust him when he's calling me to something. It doesn't matter if I can't see this greater plan, as much as things might hurt, as much as things may happen that there's just no freaking way we can understand. I can trust and I can walk in faith. And I experienced that from watching my mom do it, because she was brave. And so this fearless emotion in me really came out of just understanding that if God calls me to something, he'll see me through it no matter what, no matter the circumstance. I can trust him. And it was a really, really hard, difficult lesson to learn. And there's been other times in my life where I've had to just really lead with blind faith. But I remember sitting in a Super Saturday as a customer, listening to my mentor who poured into me today, you guys. Her name is Lindsay Stay. She spoke on here earlier, and she said to me, you are worthy, you are enough. And I'm like gonna get emotional about it, because it's just what I needed to hear today. Because I remember sitting in that Super Saturday as a customer, literally just going with Luana so that I could be there for the workout, and Lindsay spoke. And I remember thinking in my heart, if she can do this, I can do this. Guys, if you've been watching this surge and you're seeing these coaches and you're like, well, that's them. Like, that's not me. That's just them. That's a load of crap. Okay? Truth bomb. If we can do this, if these people, and I'm looking at these people too, as, you know, these $1 million earners. I'm a 15-star diamond, 2-time elite coach, and I've been a coach for about 2.5 years. And I see these coaches and they're making millions, right? Exactly, get your customers to Super Saturday. I can be so encouraged by them. It's not that they are, you know, blessed in some way or God loves them more or something crazy. It is literally hard work, blood, sweat, and tears, and really understanding that if they can do this, I can do this. I remember sitting there and I remember thinking, like, okay, God, like I know you've been calling me to this. Guys, I was in the car with a 1-year-old working 50 to 60 hours a week at an amazing church, and I loved it. But my 1-year-old, who could barely talk, was in the car when I would leave to go pick him up from daycare, and I'd go back to the church because I was never done with my job. And I remember sitting there and thinking, and this is awful, because he would be in the back seat going, no, mommy, no church, no church. Which is so not what I wanted my child to say, right? And I remember thinking, God is calling me to some other ministry, and that's scary. I don't know what that looks like, but he's calling me out, and he's calling me to make my family my #1 ministry and to be there with my son, and I don't know what that looks like, and I don't like change sometimes. But God was calling me to this, and so I sat there listening to Lindsay, and her story was the answer. She was literally speaking right to me, and she probably didn't even really know it. And I remember leaving there going, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to go all in. There's going to be no plan B. There's not going to be a plan C or D or E. This is it. And guys, I have to encourage you, way too many times I see coaches go into this journey and they decide to step out there in faith for like a minute. And they realize that, oh, it's actually not that easy. And they decide to pull back and they decide to go with plan B or plan C or plan D, even though they were called to be a coach. I named my team the Fearless Empire, and part of that is because, and this was reminded me of this today, somebody reminded me of this, it says fear not 365 times in the Bible. That is one for every single day. Guys, things are scary. Coaching is scary. If you're a newer coach on this call, it is scary. I get that. But if he has called you to it, he's going to see you through it, and you have this amazing opportunity to inspire so many people. And I will be the first person to tell you that even though I was all in, guys, I was all in. There was no plan B, right? The first 10 people I talked to that I thought would join my team, that were going to do this, they all said no. They all said no. In fact, I got laughed at. I have literally been called out in groups of people that I respect a lot and hurt by them telling me I'm part of a pyramid scheme. And I just remember feeling like, okay, that stinks. That really, really stinks. However, I realize that these first 10 people aren't going to do it, but that's not going to stop me because God has put this on my heart for a reason. Okay, so I know that I'm going to keep going. And it's that perseverance and that belief and that no plan B attitude that can absolutely get you from one point to where you want to be. And it takes all these individual steps. It takes breaking down goals. It takes understanding where what this business is all about, how to help as many people as possible, and how to achieve those goals in baby steps. And that's exactly what I did. I actually went from a coach to diamond in 24 days. I ended up being 2-star in about 6 months. I ended up being 6-star qualifying in like 9 months, and then 7-star by summit, and then 10-star by that fall, and then 15-star in 23 months. Just a little under 2 years, and it was freaking hard. And I'm not going to pretend, even though it was really fast, that it was like easy or something, because it wasn't. And I went through a lot of crap at times, and I wanted to throw in the towel many times, and I still have wanted that multiple times. But I know that I am inspiring people, and that I have this. It actually would be selfish of me to not share this opportunity boldly. Because like Shay was saying, we have this amazing gift that I believe in 150%. I lost 56 pounds using Shakeology. I was this overweight mom whose son didn't want to go to church, who was working at a church, and I was struggling so hard, and it was so just the hardest time I've been through in recent years, besides my mom passing away. And I had a choice, and I just went, you know what? I believe in this wholeheartedly. And guys, when you believe in something, share it. You have this opportunity. It's not something you have to do. It's something you get to do. One of my coaches spoke on our team call last night, and she was literally crying. She was in tears talking about the new leader conference she was just at, and how Doug Moss literally was in tears on stage talking about how he needed us coaches. He was the guy that had to buy 2 plane tickets to sit on a plane because he was so large and had to lose weight. He needed a coach. He needed us. And I think about my uncle. My uncle literally called me and said, I'm going to get one of these Shakeology pack things because I heard that you're doing this, and I want to support you. And he was my last person to become a coach to go diamond. And I know that he did it for me, but he lost 7 pounds in 1 week and drinking Shakeology. And that was so worth it. That was so amazing. These tools work. Share it boldly. I'm going to use an analogy that's going to sound kind of shallow, but from a girl's perspective, if I find this amazing hair product, right? I have this amazing hair product, and I'm like, girl, I'm going to share it with my friends. Like, this stuff is off the chain. Like, it makes my curls on point, Like, I'm going to share that. Like, you got to get this stuff, right? that is how I feel about Beachbody and Shakeology. And guys, it's so funny because they have these newer coaches sometimes, right? Like we all started these new coaches, and before they're a coach, they're a challenger and they're pumped, and then they decide to be a coach and they do their coming out post, and then all of a sudden they're like, they freeze. And they're like, no, I have to invite. No, I have to talk about this. It's part of my power hour. I have to do this. And it's like, no, you missed it. You were so freaking excited about this. Keep that energy. Do not get out of phase one. You have this opportunity to share what you know works. Why would you not? So I say that because it helped drive my goals to be in that focus and mentality, right? It absolutely helped drive it. And so know your strengths, know your gifts. If you guys have not taken a personality test, make sure you do it. I know that or a gift finder test, I know that my gift, I have the spiritual gift of faith and I have the spiritual gift of encouragement. And so I'm gonna use that to my advantage in every way that I can, okay? And so when I was looking at my income, I knew that I needed, it was no longer a want, I was called, right? So I needed to be home. And I knew that in order to do that, I had to pull in a certain amount of income, okay? Like we needed my income. And so, like I said, I went diamond in 24 days, but sometimes there's a myth too that when you go diamond, you're gonna make $1 million, and that's just not true. And I didn't have massive volume or anything like that. And so I did, however, start to bring in a consistent average of what I knew I was gonna make, but it wasn't where I needed it to be. And so what I did is I calculated what I needed to do in order to get to that end point to double my income. And then I divided it by challenge pack sales. And so it wasn't like I just said, okay, like April comes, I'm doubling my income. No, it was baby steps. It's like, okay, this week I'm gonna sell this many challenge packs. And then this week I'm gonna help this many people. And I'm gonna help this many people, and then this many people, and this many people. And I got to a point where I finally had hit that goal. And it happened in 6 months, but it was affirmed. It was prayed over. If you're the praying kind, I really hope, and you got to be praying over your business. You got to work as if it depends on you and pray as if it depends on God, because He can bring you people, let me tell you. But I knew what I needed to be. I knew where I needed to be at. And so I calculated that out. And then I set baby step goals of like, okay, 3 challenge packs this week, then I'm going to go to 4. And then, so start with 1, start with 2. Start, go from 2 to 3, whatever it is. But I knew that I needed to be matching that income in a certain amount of time, or not in a certain, not in a certain amount of time, but I knew that I needed to, I knew that I needed to have like a certain amount in order to be able to quit that full-time job and be able to do this full-time. And so that's exactly how I did it. But I also, Lindsay Matway said to me, it's great that you did that, but now I want to know how you did it, because it's great to say, okay, I need to, do this many challenge packs, whatever, but how do you sell those many challenge packs? I got creative, okay? I literally, guys, I did fun runs. I set up tables at fun runs. I did, different expos. When I knew if I did one at a school, what I would do is I would make sure that I would be attracting kids to my table. Like I would have a big glass bowl full of different dollar store toys so that these kids would want to come up to my table and they could get a prize if they did their best Shakeology dance and shake it up and just different stuff like that. And because I attracted those kids, I attracted their parents. And then I had a sign that said, I've lost 30 pounds, ask me how. You've got to get creative, right? You can't just sit on your couch and pray for $1 million. You have to actually go out there and you have to think outside the box. So I did stuff like that. The first thing I did when Lindsay Stay was still in town, Lindsay is my coach, Luana's coach, okay? What I did is I had her come over with Luana and I threw a launch party. I didn't do it like a typical shake and share kind of a thing. I did a launch party where I just invited people over. I had like a menu for them when they came in, like a wine list, and it was a bunch of different Shakeology. And then I had servers with little trays with little shot glass cups with different Shakeology flavors in it, going around at the party and serving it to people. And I had Lindsay share from her heart that night, just her story, just very pressure free. I ended up signing up like 4 people, 4 new coaches that night alone. I got creative. I thought outside the box because there was no plan B. This was plan A. I was going to double this income. I was going to be home with my kid. Whew. I'm like actually sweating and trying not to cry because I'm so passionate about this. I wanted to be home with my son, and it was not okay to just sit around. It was not okay to just sit around and just hope that it happened. And so I did that. I ran fit clubs. I did, like I said, those expos. I brought people out to coffee that I knew would be an amazing coach, and I talked with them about this opportunity. I had people over and I shared my heart with them. I shared why I felt called to it and how God had put this on my heart and how I believed that, honestly, health and fitness is not gonna go out of style, guys. That's right, Linz, I shared it unapologetically. Health and fitness is not going out of style. I mean, whatever, to each their own, but you know, whether it's lip gloss or just different stuff, cool. But health and fitness is not a fad. It's not a fad. It literally saves lives, okay? So this is something that I could get behind 110% and share my heart. And because of that, and because of those baby step goals, and because I affirmed it daily and had intention with every single conversation, and I spent an hour, you know, a half hour in the morning, sometimes before anybody got up, I'd stay up late. I would work on my lunch. When everyone else went out to lunch in the office, I would sit there and I would invite and I would invite and I would invite, because I had a checklist and I had goals and I had a certain amount of people that I was going to help in order to get to that goal. And that's exactly what we have to do sometimes. We have to think outside the box. We have to get creative, and we have to be intentional about our goals. Okay, I've totally gone way over my time. I hope that this inspired you guys tonight. I hope that, you know, me sharing my heart about my mom and about her passing away and all of that shows that the reason why I even shared that, I hope I got that point across with that, was just talking about how sometimes we just need to trust, and we need to understand that things are going to happen that we cannot see the plan for. There are things that are going to happen that we can't see and that we don't understand, right? But there is an end point, and when we trust and we go all in and we have that belief, powerful things can happen. Whew. There's so many people, you guys, to help, and sometimes it starts with our family. I feel so blessed that I get to be home with my kid, and I guess kids, I have 2 now. So I feel so blessed that I get to be home with my kids and that I get to share this daily. And that's not going to change. That's not going to change. I get to do this. Nothing is going to take me back a step. It's going to keep going. Guys, do not give yourself a 30-day back guarantee. Do not put that on yourself. You owe you to do the best that you can with this. So come up with a creative plan, share it unapologetically, and know that God does not choose the qualified. Thank you, Lindsay Matway, for this quote, because I love it, and you're the first person I heard it from. God does not choose the qualified. He qualifies the chosen. And if you are called to this, He will see you through it, okay? It may not be fast. Lindsay Stay spoke earlier today. Her journey was not fast. Look at what she has done. Look at how she has been used. She's been such a light. And every day, if you are the praying kind, you pray that God blesses your team, that He brings a couple people to you every day that you can help, that He protects you, and that He uses you to be a light. And I pray that over my team daily, and I pray that God brings the right people for us just to help every day. And He continues to do that. So I love you guys. I hope, again, that this inspires you, and keep on listening to the journey of all these amazing coaches that are sharing with you along the way, guys. They are giving so much. Yeah, Lindsay State is your top earner, and she did not grow fast. It took her, I think she said 17 months to make a $500 paycheck. Okay? So remember that, guys. It's not a race, by the way. Everybody has a different journey. It's not a race, but it's definitely worth it to stick with it and give it your absolute all. Do not sell yourself short. Do not sell yourself short by being a toe dipper, okay? You owe yourself more than that. Go all in, create those goals, be creative, and do it in baby steps. You don't have to double your income next month, but think about those goals. Write them down, pray over them, and affirm them. You guys can do this. If I can do this, you can do this. Trust me. Look at me, I'm a mess. If I can do this, you can do it. All right, I love you guys. Have a wonderful evening, and thank you for tuning in. And let's just continue to be so blessed by this surge. It's amazing. Thanks, Linz, for putting this together. All right, thanks, guys.